Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Yanamurtim Dundvatitam Gaganashadasham Tattvamasya Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Nithyanandam. Hi, this is Ma Nithya Ovyananda. Today we're getting into our next session, part 2 of the love chapter in the Living Enlightenment Book by His Divine Holiness Paramahamsa Nithyananda. This amazing book. We're going step by step through the book and telling you about how Swamiji has been revealing the secrets of many things in our lives, of many experiences that we have in our life, emotions that we have, what we're going through. He's addressing all of this in this book. So how can we make our life free of suffering and more easy and more blissful? So we're learning about that right now. We're learning about emotions and love. Love is being, as we spoke about in our last session, love is not the feeling of possessing or wanting to own something or having that greed or fear, but opening up and enriching another person or object, a life. So now we're going to talk about the next section here, which is going a little more in depth in what Swamiji said about how love cannot be created. It can never be made to happen with just a logical decision. See, our mental setup itself should be created in such a way that we become love and our actions speak love. Our logic should just start radiating love, which is beyond the logic itself. When real love happens in us, we'll not even be aware that we're loving. Only others will be able to be aware that we're radiating love. See, I can give it like a simple example, because see, in the last section, Swamiji was talking about how when we're not calculating something, what can we get out of something? When we're just looking at enriching another person, another life, a being, and we're giving up that calculation, that possession, that wanting something from that person, but instead we're just giving something. We're going into our consciousness and giving something, enriching them with something that can help them. So what I'm thinking is, when we bring more awareness in a simple way even, is I noticed before I used to be a lot more unaware of, let's say, my movements and my actions. Like, let's say I would, just in a simple thing, like I'm cooking dinner, So years ago, before I met Swamiji, I'd be cooking dinner. But the way I would handle the things, I would always be in a hurry. So I'd always sort of throw things in a way, slamming this down, this, that. Yes, I was quick and efficient in some ways, but I was not moving with so much awareness and consciousness. And I was kind of, putting this here and throwing it there and slamming, opening doors and drawers and putting knives and, all those things. You're kind of just banging around in the kitchen and getting the job done. But the example I was thinking then, when you're bringing more awareness to what you're doing, you're moving, you may or may not move at a quicker pace, but you're starting to feel, what are you touching and what are you doing? See, actually, when I bring up food, then of course I think of something else, which is how whatever we're feeling at the time when we're cooking will affect the food that we're cooking and serving others. So if you're in a loving mood, you're going to be pouring your love. And actually, you could say this was made with TLC, right? You've heard that. When maybe your mother or grandmother makes a cake for your birthday, it was made with TLC, because they are putting their love into it. But what if we can do that with everything we cook? So, but what if we go home from work and we're angry and we're banging things around and we're cooking from that space? Then we're putting that energy into the food that way. But if we're putting it from more an awareness space and more of a loving space, see, as we move with more awareness, we touch things and we connect to things more. And an example I can give is I worked in the Analaya here, which is the kitchen, Sadhu Shiva's kitchen here at the Adinam, for some months. And after some time, I would help the cooks. I'd be their assistant, and I even learned how to make some things. But I just remember one time, I was starting to get the herbs and spices and things, not really so much herbs here. We mostly use curry leaves or coriander leaves or mint leaves, but we use a lot of spices. So it was my thing that day to collect the main spices that we put in at the beginning of making one of the dishes. And for making such a giant amount, I needed 1 or 2 handfuls of the things. And I remember holding this, 1 or 2 handfuls of the things, and I remember holding this, 1 or 2 handfuls of the things, and I remember holding this, 1 or 2 handfuls of the things, and I remember holding this, 1 or 2 handfuls of the things, and I remember holding this, 1 or 2 handfuls of the things, and I remember holding this, 1 or 2 handfuls of the things, and I remember holding this, 1 or 2 handfuls of the things, and I remember holding this, 1 or 2 handfuls of the things, and I remember holding this, 1 or 2 handfuls of the things, and I remember holding this, 1 or 2 handfuls of the things, and I remember holding this, 1 or 2 handfuls of the things, and I remember holding this, 1 or 2 handfuls of the things, and I remember holding this, 1 or 2 handfuls of the things, and I remember holding this, 1 or 2 handfuls of the things, and I remem the spice, the different ones in my hand, and suddenly I can feel like that connection with nature. I kind of was having that feeling as I was holding that item, because everything we get it locally, and then we grind it actually. So we buy in bulk locally, and then we go to some shop that grinds in bulk. So then sacks of these things are brought to the adinam because we're cooking so much food for so many people. So I can feel that opening up in me, and that connection and that love, like in what I was actually doing. Because for one thing, I was moving with awareness, and I wasn't necessarily banging anything around like I used to be in a hurried way. But I was getting into that feeling of feeling that material that's come from nature, from the earth. And I felt like a connection to that. So it's just one small example that I'm trying to give in your daily life, how you can move with more awareness. So even if you're moving things from here to there, if you bring more awareness and look at it, even your coffee cup, right? How important is your coffee cup? If you don't have a coffee cup, you won't be able to drink coffee. And we all know we like coffee or tea or something typically at work. I mean, what if we just bang our cup around and it breaks and there's nothing else in the office maybe to drink from? So maybe having some of that sort of connection, thanks for this cup, some gratitude. And then you kind of move in a different way as you're holding that cup. You're holding on to that and kind of, having that gratitude for simple things. There's nothing wrong. Everything in life is auspicious and a gift. So why not just enjoy and start to bring that awareness to everything? So when we bring that, then we can start to open up, and actually you'll start to become more aware of what you're doing, less hurried, less blunt and kind of gruff with things, and you'll start to move in a different space. So, see, when real love happens, we overflow with so much energy that we have courage to share whatever we have with others. So I was mentioning, if somebody saw your necklace and they just loved it, and you decided just to take it off and give it to them, that is such a confidence and courage just to give what you have. Another practice that Swamiji had us do is he told like a lot of the disciples that, hey, if someone asks you for something, just give it to them. Why not? Let's unclutch, or let's let go of that possession feeling over objects. And if somebody else really loves it that much and they're asking you for it, then why not give it to them? Imagine how happy they'll be and how good you'll feel, because you'll be giving something to somebody, contributing to their life in that way. So we get a tremendous confidence in ourselves when we have that courage to share with other people. See, whether it's energy or time or talent or pleasure, only when we're overflowing can we really share it. When love happens naturally, not through compulsion. So if we try to create love, it'll be like forcing the petals of a flower to make it bloom. But then it can't be called flowering. So love is like a flower that blossoms deep within you, deep within your being, and sends out that sweet fragrance that we can share with others. So I hope that you will try some of these things and give some comments in the comments field about what you've tried and how the other person reacted. Especially if somebody asks for something maybe that you really like, but they're so much in love with it and you give it to them, and how they were and how you were and how the process is helping you. It would just be great to hear those stories and examples from you, because this is why I'm here telling you about all this, because I want you, or I would really like it actually, if these things would benefit your life. That's why I'm here. I'm not here just to read a book, but I'm here to share this book. The words of my guru, my Swamiji, His Divine Holiness Paramahamsa Nithyananda. So thanks for joining again today for this section. We have some few more sections in the love chapter, so I'll be returning to share those with you again tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Nithyananda.